So you ready to start your own credit repair business? In this video, I'm going to give you a step-by-step on what you're going to need to do and what you're going to need to focus on in trying to start your own credit repair business. Hey everybody, Will Frazier here, your credit expert, bringing credit tips to help give you your credit comeback, because whatever goes down must come up. If you want to learn more about increasing credit scores or starting your own credit repair business, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so that you can get a notification for every video that I drop. So there are a total of 5 things that you need to know and be focused on when it's about time to start your credit repair business. Now the items that I'm going to tell you about that you need to focus on are going to be researching the laws that deal with credit repair, registering your business to make it a legal business in your state, marketing and selling, which I know are 2 different items, but they're kinda in the same category. 4, your systems and automation, and 5 is gonna be, of course, disputing accounts. So let's get started with the first thing, research. Now the first thing that you want to research is CROA, C-R-O-A. There are federal CROA laws and there are state CROA laws. You need to be familiar with both. Now the federal law is going to be basically the foundation, and the state law will usually be more strict than the federal law, so it will add upon it and tell you what you need to do. Now the CROA law in your state is going to govern what you need in order to get started with a credit repair business, and it is very important that you understand what it is that is required of you to run your business legally, because there are a lot of companies out there that don't focus on what the law says, and yeah, you may be able to get away with it in the beginning, but you don't want to get that person that is found out about and ends up having to pay the cost of not following these instructions. So the CROA laws also tell you what you have to do and how you have to operate as a credit repair business. So again, this is all going to be very important, because if you didn't know, you can't charge customers up front when you are running a credit repair business. There are certain methods and ways that you have to do things, and it's important that you understand how that stuff works to make sure that you don't get in trouble. The very next thing that you want to do is register your business in your state and in your county or city. So of course, you want to go to the state secretary website. You want to make sure your business is registered. Now you may want to consult with various people to find out how you want to register your entity. You can be a sole proprietor, you can be a LLC, or you can be a corporation. Me personally, I set my business up as an LLC because that is what the best option was for me. But of course, you want to do your research on how those different statuses or those different classifications of business can affect you in business in the long run. And everything that you do, you want to be thinking about the long run and not the short term. Don't skip steps, because it will end up costing you down the line. Another thing that's really important in this category is going to be your business name. Of course, you want to try to come up with a name that is going to exemplify what it is that you want to do as far as how you want to help people or what you want people to think about you and your business. But you also have to know one thing that is very important as well. When it comes down to getting business accounts and also doing other things that you may need to do in your business, the business name can be important, because there are some companies, some banks, and some other institutions that choose not to work with credit repair companies. So with that being said, it's important to, if you can avoid it, not have credit or credit repair in the name of your business. Okay, so another important thing is going to be your URL for your business. If you're not sure what a URL is, it's basically your www.com address. So when it comes to this, you want to make sure that you have a very good name. I will let you know now that usually long names aren't the best. When I created my URL, I made it cleanslate4u.com, because of course the business name is Clean Slate Credit, and I was unable to get that one, so I had to put a 4U behind the actual business name. Now with that being said, like I said, the shorter the better, because of course you want your URL or your web address to be something easy for people to remember, but of course you also want it to represent your business well. So try to see what's available out there, and also see, if somebody else already has your name, because that may change your decision on your actual business name. And the reason why that can become a problem is because of trademarks. Something else you should also be looking into, because I know right now your business may be small, but if it turns into something really big and wonderful, you may want to trademark your business name. Now, in regards to my business name, there are several other businesses out there with the name Clean Slate Credit. I thought it was a real cool, unique name when I thought of it, but I didn't do enough research to figure out that other people had the name. And there's actually also another company that actually has the name trademark. And I actually know the person who has it trademarked, and he's a real cool guy, so no issues there. But some instances you may find that you have a name that is connected to somebody else's business, and they may not be so nice, or they may be somebody that you don't know, and they could at any time send you a cease and desist and have you to stop using that business name. So that's another reason why the business name is so important, and you want to make sure that you do something to see if it is trademark ready, so that you can hold on to that name and build a brand under it, so that you don't have to change everything after you've been years down the line in business. Another thing that's going to be important under this category is going to be your EIN number. EIN numbers are free to get. It is basically your social security number for your business. A lot of entities will ask you for this number when you're trying to do certain things with your business, whether it be applying for a loan or a credit card or a bank account. So this is very important, and you need to get this and establish this at the same time while you're establishing everything else for your business. And now the next category that you need to pay attention to for your business is marketing and selling. No matter what kind of business you have, no one will know you're here unless you know how to market very well. And when it comes to marketing very well, that means knowing what avenues to put your advertisements out at, and also saying the right things in order to entice people to want to do business with you. When I say entice, I don't mean trying to trick people into wanting to do business with you. I mean putting the message out there that lets them know what type of value you will provide to them and why you are different from other companies to make them want to do business with you versus your competitors. So there's a lot that goes into really good marketing, and like I said, there are several different avenues that you can go about to market. There's SEO for your business website, which is basically what causes your website to pop up on Google higher in the search results than other businesses selling the same thing that you're selling. There's also social media, which is of course free unless you do the ads on whatever platform it is, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Those are the most popular ones, but you can also for free advertise your business on there. Like you're seeing this video from me as a free form of advertisement for my business. And so of course you need to identify which one of those social media channels may be the one that you want to use, and then realizing how you can effectively advertise on that platform, because each platform you have different things that you want to focus on to try to advertise and get your name out there. Now there's also the older forms of advertising like TV advertisements, commercials, and radio advertisements. Also there's email marketing and referrals. A lot of credit repair companies base a lot of their customer intake off of referrals from real estate agents, from mortgage brokers, from car dealerships. So knowing the proper things to say to them or the proper ways to connect with them in order to get them to send you referrals and leads is another form of marketing. And when it comes down to email marketing, that is also another craft when it comes to marketing. You always want to try to build an email list no matter what kind of business you are in, because that email list is going to be your distribution center where you actually have control over the people that are there and the information that they see. You don't have control over YouTube or Facebook or Instagram. So if those platforms decided to disappear at any point in time, you would lose all of your followers and all of your content. So having an email list is very important to being able to grow your business and to see success in your business. Now when it comes to the selling part, basically you've done what you need to do to attract these customers to you. Now you need to know what to say to them to let them know, hey, yes, we are actually that great company that you saw in the advertisements, and this is how we can help you. So if you're not really good at selling, which I know a lot of people say that they aren't, but some people are really good at selling and they don't even know that they are, because pretty much in everyday life you're always selling yourself to people. But it's just a matter of knowing the right tactics and how to home in on the right things to say. When I say tactics, again, I don't mean tricks. I mean knowing what you need to say to best articulate what it is that you can do to help the customer. That is always number one. Now the next category that you want to pay attention to is your systems and automation. Now, when it comes down to systems, that would be your credit repair software. What software are you using to actually input customers' information in once they actually come and sign up with you? How are you maintaining their information and letting them know about what's going on with their credit throughout the process? All of these are things that your credit repair software will handle and manage for you. And if you have affiliates sending you referrals, do you have a place where they can send you those referrals easily and be able to track what is going on with those referrals so that they feel safe that they're going to get those people back and in better condition than what they sent them to you in? All of these things can be dealt with your credit repair software, so it's important to be able to know what you need in your business and be able to pick the proper software to be able to manage your business. Now, I've looked at several companies and went through several of them before I figured out which one I was going to actually go with, and I do have a link to the description in one that I know is really good. But of course, there are several options out there, so make sure you do your research and see what's important for you and your business. But I do have one linked in the description, so you can check that out for yourself and see if you like. Now, something else that you're going to need in your business systems is going to be a merchant account. A merchant account is important because you have to be able to take money from your customers, and that is by a debit card. That is why you want a merchant account. Now, some of you may be thinking you could use Square or a Cash App or PayPal, but a lot of companies like that have stipulations within their procedures which say they will not do business with a credit repair company. So you might be able to get in the door initially, but as soon as they figure out that you're a credit repair company, they will shut you down if you don't get shut down in the beginning. And that can be really bad for you if you start and then they do that, because you can have pending transactions. Imagine seeing $2,000 in pending transactions from customers, and then they shut down your entire account, and then you have to figure out how you're going to get that money out of their system. So again, it pays to go ahead and do it right in the beginning, and just don't deal with those kind of companies to begin your credit repair business process, and go ahead and start with a merchant account. Now, there won't be wide access to merchant accounts because there are a lot of merchant companies that will not deal with credit repair companies. So there are specific high risk merchant account companies that you want to go to try to get your merchant accounts. And now, when it comes down to automation in your business, basically, if you're just starting out in the beginning, you're going to be a solopreneur and you may not have any employees. Now, while you're starting out with no employees, it is important to know that there are going to be instances where you may wish that there were more than one of you to be able to do the job. And things as simple as stuff that I implemented at the beginning of my business in automation was having a call come to each person that sets an appointment on my calendar. So I just had to figure out how to make it so that as soon as a person sets an appointment, they will get a phone call. So if 10 people set an appointment at the same time, they will all get a phone call just saying thank you for setting the appointment and letting them know the next steps. And all of that comes with automating your business processes so that it can seem like you're in more places at one time than you really are. And it really can help you be more like a bigger business in the way you are perceived by your customers versus you seeming like a person that's just doing everything by yourself. And I promise you, it'll take a lot of weight off of your shoulders to know that you have so many things happening that need to get done, and you don't have to do each and every step every time for every customer. And now, the very last thing that you want to focus on is going to be the laws that deal with disputing accounts. Of course, everybody is usually most focused on the disputing account part and not so much focused on all the other things that I mentioned in business. But you do have to remember that this is a business that you are starting and trying to grow. So you need to treat it as such, and you need to understand all of the important business processes that let businesses grow and succeed, and not just worry about the product itself. Now, in credit repair, our product is of course partly the disputes, because that is the results that people come to us and they want to see, which is success from those disputes as far as deletions and increases in their credit score. But there's a whole nother part of business and process and the legalities of what we do in credit repair that deals with that. And I know it may sound like a lot now, but it's not as bad as it seems. Either way, what you want to do is you want to try to learn the laws that deal with credit repair, because they are going to steer you in the right direction of what you can do to try to dispute accounts that are on a person's credit report that may be erroneous, unverifiable, untimely, and various other things. These are all of the reasons that a person is able to get items off of their credit report, regardless of if the account is actually theirs or if they have paid it off or not. And all of these things are under federal law. So it's not just something that I'm making up. These are things that are under actual laws that we credit repair companies use to maximize our results. And besides all that, of course, we know about eOscar, which is something that is in place at the credit bureaus that you have to go through to try to send a dispute. We know, of course, the difference between online disputing and disputing through paper. All these things are things that you need to know in order to see success in your product that you deliver to your customers. And as far as the laws that you need to know, the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, and FACTA, TILA, there are a whole bunch of different sets of laws out there, and going through them will definitely help you have an understanding of what you can do with your dispute letters. And also there's a certain flow to understanding how credit bureaus respond, how creditors respond, how collection companies respond, and how to deal with those issues. Now, I know I said a mouthful with all of that stuff, so what I want you to do for me is comment below anything that I said that sounds like it was probably the hardest or most challenging thing that you may have to deal with when you try to start your credit repair company. And I'll respond to try to help steer you in the right direction on your journey. Now, over my journey of almost 7 years of being a credit repair business owner, I have learned all these things and I've had to master them because, of course, I left my job with no other source of income. So, of course, it was fight or flight for me. So I basically had to learn all of these things just to be able to survive and thrive in business. And you know, at one point I went in 1 year and spent about $10,000, maybe more than that, on going to trainings from other credit repair companies and from other people that are experts in understanding credit scores and what happens at the bureaus, just to make sure that I can have the most success in my business and be able to help more customers. So if you are one of those people that want some assistance and a laid out plan and more explanation in detail on how to deal with all of these areas that play a role in being able to be successful in a credit repair business, please don't hesitate to go ahead and click the link that I have in the bio for my credit repair training that I'm going to be hosting. Everything is going to be online via Zoom calls, so we will be able to see everything that's going on virtually, and you'll be able to learn and get replays of all of the information that you learned during the training. If you have any questions about the training, you can leave those in the comments, but there is a link in the description that has all of the details that you need on everything that entails the training. So I thank you guys for sticking with me through the video for this long, and I hope you got some useful information out of it. I'll see you guys next time.